Hello everyone, and welcome back to Yarn Creations. I'm Crystal, and you guessed it, it is another stitch of the week. So in this crochet video tutorial, I am going to show you how to do the front post single crochet. So I've already started the sample here just so you can have an idea of what it looks like. So it kind of creates this like ribbed texture when you do it this way. So I kind of really, I like how it's raised like that. So it kind of reminds me of the half double crochet in the third loop. It kind of brings the stitches forward that almost make it look like knit. But it's a little more, I guess, stretchy. So it'd be good for like maybe doing like a blanket. It kind of gives it a bit of thickness as well. Sorry, I'm out of the frame. But yeah, so it's a fairly easy stitch. I mean, there is also, you can do, and I'll probably do a video on these upcoming, but we also have the front post half double crochet, and then half front post double crochet. So I mean, it's the same idea, and how you work your stitches around, but with single crochet it is a little bit like, it doesn't build up as quickly as say the half double crochet or the double crochet would. So I mean, this is like what, 5 or 6 rows that I did already, so I mean it would be very time consuming, I find, but I mean it does give a really nice look to it. I also am going to show you what this stitch also looks like when you work in the round, but first we'll focus on just if you are doing this pattern back and forth. So what I did here is I did a chain of 20 or 21, so then I would have 20 stitches, and then I did 20 single crochets onto the chain to just kind of start your base stitch. So then once you have your 20 single crochet stitches, then you would chain 1. And to do the front post, we're going to work into the next single crochet at the bottom of the chain there. So we're going to go in so that it's facing out towards us, and then we're going to come back around. And what we want to do is we want to come back through this stitch that's right beside it. So basically now our hook is around that post of that last single crochet stitch we did in that row. So now we're going to yarn over and do our single crochet. Okay, so then to do the next stitch, you want to work into that same one, because now we need to go over around the front post or bar of the next stitch. So we're going to go into that stitch we just were in, and again we're going to come back up around. Okay, so like I said, so now we have the bar on our hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through to do our single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to show you slow motion a few more times here, just so you can kind of get the hang of it, but that's all there is to it. So again, we're working into where our hook was last. So you can see here that we just did a stitch in that space there. So we're going to go back into that, and then if you look up at the top, this is our top row of stitches. So now that this is behind us, we want to come back into the next stitch to come forward, so that our hook is now has that front post onto our hook, and then we just yarn over and finish off our single crochet. So once again, I'll show you. We're going to go into this stitch there, and then we're going to come back around into the next one. We're going to yarn over and finish our single crochet, and that is how you do the front post single crochet. It's fairly simple, Sometimes I want to do a slip stitch. I don't know why. It's just, I think it's how it feels when I am working it. Because when you go into double stitches like that, I don't know, I think generally you're doing that to slip stitch. Anyways, that's me rambling again. But yeah, so again, you go in to the last stitch that you just worked in, come up into the other one so that your hook is now on that bar, and then yarn over and finish your single crochet. Not sure how much background noise you guys are going to get. I do have the window open because it's actually a lot cooler today than it has been the last few days. Yesterday was nice too. So I do have the window open, so you might hear traffic. I can never guarantee when there's going to be sirens. But hopefully it's not too much background noise going on. My street can get pretty noisy sometimes. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to go to the end here because I do want to show you what happens. So this looks like it would be like our last stitch to do. So we're going in and then we're coming up and around. And then we're going to do our single crochet. But you kind of need to finish off with a single crochet in that last stitch there. Just so that it finishes that part off. Otherwise you're going to have an uneven side. Alright, and then to do your next row, you would just chain one and you continue on and keep doing the same thing. And you get this nice ribbed texture. Kind of alternates on the back there. So that is if you're just going back and forth. I do want to show you, I think this is kind of really neat how this turns out when you're working in the round. So again, I did the same thing. I did a chain of 21 and then I slip stitched the chain together to form a ring. So I just got to turn my yarn around. I'm going to get all tangled here. Sorry. Alright. I got creative and I used both ends of the yarn so that I could do this without having to undo and start, because I like to show you the sample first. So if you flip this into the inside, you are going to see that you have those same type ridges that we have on here, but they're closer together because you're working in the round. So you're doing the same thing in a circle, because when you're not flipping your work, I guess when you do it back and forth like this, you're turning your work, so you kind of get a different result on the other side. But this generally happens with this as well. So, I mean, when we look at that, at the other one that we did back and forth, this is kind of more like, you know, the pattern that we were getting. However, when you work in the round, I think this side looks really cool. So again, I just did the same thing, but it kind of creates this like spiral effect. Like it looks spirally and it's kind of stretchy, but like there's no space in behind, so it's kind of closed in. I don't know. I think it's really neat. So, I mean, it kind of gives you another element to this, this type of stitch if you're working in the round. So, I mean, this would be great for doing like hats, beanies, you know, winter hats, even maybe a headband. Yeah, I think it leaves a really neat texture, and it's, you know, it'd be thicker too, and it would have less air coming through, I think. So, the only trick with doing this is that when you go into your last, so you can see where I last ended there. So I'm going to go into there like I showed you on the other one. And then I come up around. So again, I have the bar there. And then I pull up my loop to do my single crochet. So I make sure this is even. So, or like this kind of lines up. So you'll see how this is a little bit longer there. So I think this helps give you this little like spiral effect there if you leave that a little bit longer. And it kind of almost naturally goes to that when you pull it up, because then you kind of just pull it up to make it even, and then you come through. I don't know. I just, this is what happens when you play around sometimes. You just kind of discover new things. But yeah, so that is what it looks like when you do it in the round. I think it's really kind of neat. I really like that, actually. So I bet you will probably see soon here, because winter isn't really that far away. Sorry that I said that, but I mean, in terms of, being a crocheter, you like to be prepared for the winter before it comes. So, I mean, it's going to be soon time to start making more, winter hats and headbands. So I think this is going to be a new pattern that I'm going to try. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the stitch of the week, which is the Front Post Single Crochet. I bet you can probably guess what the next video will be. It'll kind of be related to this, but it'll be going a different direction. So, but yeah, so that is what I have for you this week. Please stay tuned. Each week I release a stitch of the week. It's the one thing that I try to be consistent on. I do want to start working on another pattern, hopefully this weekend. However, I will need to do it in stages, which means that I probably won't share it for a little while because it's going to be a bit bigger of a pattern. So you'll probably get glimpses of it on my Facebook page, on the posts. I'll take pictures, but in terms of the video, it's going to be a process for me to do this tutorial. In the meantime, I'll probably try to work on something that may not take as long, just like a little quick pattern that you can do. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will be back soon with another video.